All right. So we have season one, episode 7 of the Ark. I don't know, man. What really gets me now, keep in mind, I know that this is on sci-fi, so I understand the writing is not the greatest, and judging off of the comment section, which is kind of starting to become 50-50 as far as the science. Sometimes the science is crazy, sometimes the science is not crazy. I know they're wanting more of a drama than a, full-fledged science fiction show. But anyway, I was telling you guys that I was starting getting annoyed as with the characters because there were certain situations where I'm like, this would never happen in a chain of command situation. And some of the situations where the doctor was telling Bryce, you need to, be checked out while there's a freaking asteroid coming straight at them. I think there were certain situations like we could do this later. Why are we doing this now? Everybody's gonna die on this ship, so maybe we should stop doing that. But anyway, we have episode 7 where it starts opening up. Last episode I said they're finally doing character development and it was very mid. Like it was starting to get better because of the William Trust, the owner. You're just like, What's going on with the owner here? Why is he on the ship?" So at the end of last episode, they were going to a planet to get gas or oil or whatever, but then they were just like, "Oh, the element is not coming from the planet. It's behind the planet." And there was another arc that was there. So it opens up this episode with, talking about getting people over there. And obviously, Bryce, who is, we found out last episode that he had some type of disease that the government was using to fight climate change. and and he pretty much said he doesn't care, about doing YOLO stuff, meaning you only live once. He was just being like, "Hey, I'm gonna die, so I might as well do these heroic, stuff." And it's suicide missions and all that stuff. Which again, if you were trying to be all about the military and stuff, you could probably say, "Hey, you're endangering everybody on the ship. You're kind of a bad officer because you're being selfish that you have this disease and you're going to die sooner than others. That I'm just going to be all willy nilly and hazardous and unsafe to a larger, pretty much humankind. Like these people on the ark are going to a different planet to populate and live." And this is the human race apparently because the whole planet's like going on fire because of climate change. So it's kind of stupid on his thinking, saying, I'm going to do all this extreme stuff because I'm going to die." So, but I guess you could see it from this point because not everybody's perfect and not everybody's going to be thinking on the same wavelength. That that he doesn't care. He's being selfish, and that's what he is. But they go search the ship, and this doesn't have a lot of stuff going on because they're searching through the ship and they find everybody dead. They find someone with a stab mark from a knife, so they know it. Like most of these people didn't suffocate to death. Somebody died, and then they meet up with this chick. Now I forgot her name, and I'm pretty sure I will remember it next episode. But they run into her, and Lane chases after her, and it's funny because he's just like screaming at her. And this is like where the bad acting comes in the B-rated like TV shows. So I'm just like, that's funny. But automatically, now I watch a lot of sci-fi shows. or I watch a lot of other shows where if everybody's dead and there's always that one person there still alive, either A, something traumatic happened and she was the survivor, or B, she caused all those people to die somehow. And I automatically knew right away that she was option number B. She is killing all these people because, again, they kind of telegraph that she's suspicious. But I will say the writing made me second guess my thought. But overall, I knew my gut reaction is like she's bad. But they do at certain times because Strickland, who is a security guard, I think that's his name, Strickland. Yeah, Strickland, that's his name on his he finds his husband on board. And it's weird because in the other episode when they were hallucinating because of the water, because of the comet that they took the water from, he started seeing his husband with his daughter crying throughout the ship. And then we have this episode where they go on, I believe it was like Arc 1. No, this was Arc 3. And they were just wondering why Arc 3 is ahead of them since Arc 1 is like the first ship that's supposed to go out compared to others. But Arc 3, they go on the ship, he finds his husband, and automatically he's like, "Where's my daughter?" And he also finds his samurai, his katana sword, and I hope that's a thing throughout the season because I'm like, "Why okay, so he has a sword, kinda cool, I guess." But overall, I dig it. I was like, "This is awesome." Like, I no, I don't wanna put it that way. I just think it's awesome that he has a sword, and I hope we see more of that. Because they kinda do a political move here, where she finally opens up and says now I don't know if it's true because she's a bad person on the show so far, so she could be lying somehow, but she admits to Strickland that his daughter got killed by a stray bullet when there was chaos happening, from whatever stuff was happening on Earth when everything was going to chaos. But she brings that up, and then I'm like, "Wait a second, is she telling the truth?" But then they do this political move. Oh, wait, maybe I didn't think about that. Maybe she brought up and somehow knew that he would react that way, that when she found the armory and knew that he had access to the armory, he brought up about the guns. And this is where the political movement comes, where, like, no one should have guns ever. Kind of making it that the guns are somehow the problem compared to the people that are handling the guns, but I digress on that. But they do this political move. He puts the guns in an airlock and shoots out all the guns. And as he's walking away, this is where we get the moment where she puts a gun in the back of her pants. So not all the guns are gone because she has it. So automatically she's a bad person. I'm trying to bring up other things. I thought this was pretty funny where they're like yelling at her and like trying to find out information on what happened. And they do that for a while. I don't know if they're like telling they're trying to pound it into the viewer's head like, "Hey, we need to show you that there's something happening on Earth and we need to talk about it." And she finally does because everybody on the ship is like yelling at her and she's like, "I'll tell you what happened." And then she goes into like a long sob story about how climate change is putting the, you know, flames to the earth and everything is different now on Earth. And I don't know what's happening right now, but I know when I was leaving, pretty much shit was hitting the fan. So you get that build up and then you get that payoff. Uh, and let's see here. Yeah, this is where they gather all the information, and there's that sword. And I thought this interaction was funny too, because she finds the sword, and then they do this moment where she's all acting serious, and she's like, "I found something of yours." He's like, "Oh, the sword is mine. I've been training with this sword forever." And he puts the sword in the bag, and then she just exit. And I'm like you could have been like, "Hey, I found something for you," and then like pass it off to him, and then have him say something. It just felt awkward. And oh yeah, I remember she was going with through withdrawals because Strickland found out about her drug usage, and because they, scavenged the ship. Because once they accounted all the dead and stuff, and then obviously the person from Mark 3, the bad chick, she's like, I want to go back over there. But anyway, they find pills, and like the druggie in her is like, oh my god, I'm gonna get high again. And then there's the guns. Oh, they're also doing a thing because Dr. Brand, the therapist, I think that's her name, Brand. She uh, dollar store Toby Maguire is like outside of the bridge because she was trying to enter a look at the bridge because her friend, she thinks her friend's on Ark 3, which nothing pays off on that because she wasn't on the ship, and she's like, thank God. But she sensed that Angus, who's dollar store Toby Maguire, that he has a thing for Sharon, and she's like, "Hey, you need to find somebody with your speed." And now they're doing a thing with Alicia and Angus, which I guess eventually they're going to become a item. So you have that going on. Oh, and this is where they have another like reactor thing where they're about to be radiated to death, and they're like, we need a code, and they're all scrambling and stuff. And remember when I said they were acting in the early episodes that they're probably gonna have a thing? They were about to kiss because he found meaning for life. And it's funny because as he was thinking about he's gonna die, he's actually like, I don't want to die anymore. I was like, all right, that's cool. And out of nowhere, Lane gets the shutdown code. And the reason why Lane got the shutdown code is because he woke up William Truss, and he has the backup, uh the backdoor code, as they say, because he is the creator of the Ark program. And it's funny because I thought William Truss would be like a bad guy, and he's kind of waking up not knowing what the hell is going on. Because when he wakes up, he's like, what is happening? And before Ark 15 showed up, and you're just like, wait a second, I'm Ark 1. Why am I seeing Ark 15? So there's like things happening in this Ark program where there's, I guess, insurrection stuff happening with the governments or whatever, or people. There might be a terrorist group that are sabotaging this Ark program. And again, I'm interested in that storyline. And I thought this episode was written pretty well. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to docker them for being a B-rated show on a B-rated network because you're going to get that. But structurally, for me to be entertained and wondering what's going to happen next, I'm interested. Who's the chick? Why does she have a kept the gun from Strickland? Why is William Truss seem out of the loop? Did Trent say that these people were important? Is there a bigger thing going on? Is he a bad guy or is he a good guy? We don't know, and that has me interested because maybe he's playing stupid right now so that he knows what's going on before he goes, "Ha ha ha! I'm the bad guy," and now we're gonna start to choose who lives and dies and stuff, and that could happen. But there also could be another conspiracy going on where there's a terrorist leader in one of those arcs, and maybe we're gonna get that antagonist, that bad person, that villain character. So I'm hoping that's what it's leading to, at least a structure of what that is leading to. Uh, I still think some characters are kind of cringe, but I do like Lane. I do like Strickland. I do like Bryce, and Ava's starting to grow on me a little bit. Alicia and Angus are kind of annoying, but they're scripted to be that way. And I thought she was fine too. I thought she was okay in this as well. The crew, they were annoying. But I guess to pose a question to you guys, because I do recommend this episode and it's still having my interest on things. But I guess some questions I want to pose to you guys. Do you think William Trust is going to be a bad guy or a good guy? Give me your theories on that. Do you think this redheaded chick who kept the gun from Strickland, do you think she's a good person or a bad person? Or is she just doing this to survive? So maybe she's not a bad person, but she has to do bad things in order to survive. That's also a possibility as well. I guess the doctor, do you think she's going to take the pills? Because there was not much science to this episode. I mean, Alicia was talking about stuff, and I don't know if they're now. I know this is filmed in advance, but I kind of wonder because remember when I was saying, they kind of just spew a lot too much science, but not give us like the easy version of what the science is actually about. And Alicia kind of does that, and I'm like, okay, that is fine. And my biggest question to you guys for the arc is, who do you think is on these other Ark um, vessels? Do you think it's a terrorist group? Do you think William Truss is part of the leader of what's happening, or do you think it's someone different? I want your guys' opinion on that.